Yo, it's your boy, Joe Dirty 618, and this right here is where you meet tomorrow's champions today. No big network, no hype, just real fighters, real stories. Today we have Andre Mayfield, straight out of the 209, and trust me, this guy's built different. All right, fight fans, we're here with my man, Andre Mayfield, straight out of the 209. Andre, before we get started, is there anything you want to say, let the people know anything about you?
I'm current active boxer, current USA Boxing amateur fighter. I coach here at Legacy. And I served in the Marine Corps for 8 years. And yeah, I'm just out here getting it every day.
All right, man, I want to thank you for your service, man.
Thank you.
So Andre, a little modest, man. This guy does everything. He's a husband, he's a father, he's a trainer, professional boxer, and you're also about to enter the academy soon?
Yeah.
Man, hey, I don't know how you do it, man, but...
Fire Academy, yep.
Yep, Fire Academy. Every time I think about giving up or stopping, I hear stories like yours, and it just motivates me, because I'm always thinking like, hey, man, this guy's still going, and you want to have a day off. So, hey, man, I salute you. Once again, thanks for your service.
Respect, thank you.
All right, so the first question I got for you is, where are you from, and how'd you get into boxing?
I'm originally from Merced, California, Northern California. How I got into boxing, well, the very first time I stepped into a boxing gym, it was actually out of a garage out in the middle of a neighborhood. Stepped in, I was probably like 11, 12 years old around that time. Only did it for a couple months, stepped away from it, ended up finding my way back into boxing once I joined the Marine Corps. And then from that point forward, I've been after it. So
that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So how old were you when you got into it?
So the very first time, stepped into a boxing gym, trained for a little bit. I was like 10. And then once I really started taking it serious, I was probably like 19, 20 years old, actually. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. All right, so tell me about your first fight, man. The first fight you ever had inside the ring. How did it go? What was going through your mind? Hey, run it down for the fans.
So
man.
My very first fight, I had been training already for like 5 years. I was training down in Oceanside at Navarre's Boxing. Shout out to Navarre's. We had been training for a long time. We went to a lot of shows, a lot of opponents pulled out. So I already had been to shows with no opponents. And then finally my first fight was actually at the Golden Gloves tournament in 2022. And yeah, I remember just the nerves, you know, the anticipation, realizing that I'm about to actually get, you know, have my first fight after trying so many times the last 5 years. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot going through your mind. You know, you think about the worst case scenario, you think about the best case scenario. I mean, so much is going through your mind, you really don't even know how to, you know, control those nerves, especially if it's your first time, you know, getting it, having to fight and then having that crowd and that pressure there. So
Yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up. All right, so what keeps you going, man? When things get tough, mentally and physically, what drives Andre?
shoot, man. What drives me? I mean, it's deeper than It's a deep thing to me. I guess I could say just the way I was brought up, my childhood. Nothing has never been handed to me. Everything has been, rough my entire life. So I feel like, that's what just keeps me going. That's my drive. Like my childhood, having to just get through the worst case scenarios and still making it out and still being here today. That's really what drives me. I feel like, my life is 100% better than what it was before. And it's that much easier. And I feel like I just never lost that spark. I can still continue to keep going because I've seen, the ugly.
That's deep, man.
Yeah.
That's deep. All right, so who's a fighter that you study or that you have mad respect for that's a professional or amateur?
Well, first and foremost, I respect all fighters. Anybody who laces up and gets in the ring and is willing to, accept and, understand what they're about to get into. I mean, I respect you off the bat. But as far as fighters that I study, I definitely study a lot of Caleb Plant. I like his style, his slick style, his stick and move style. Jerron Boots Ennis is another fighter that I study. Terrence Crawford. There's a lot of guys that I study. I try to pick apart from every fighter that I watch and incorporate into my own style.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Good. That's a great answer too. I like that. You threw some big names out there.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so follow-up question to that. If you could fight any pro boxer right now, who would it be and why?
Any pro boxer? That's a tough question, man. It's at that professional level, but if there was anybody I would have to, that would want to fight for the experience, I mean, man, any of the guys that I name, I would get in the ring with just for their experience, just to see, and understand that there is levels of boxing, but I also am confident in myself, so I'm confident in my skills and my training. I don't think it just all goes out the window, so.
Yeah, I like that, man. Yeah. I like that. Hey, anybody can get it. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, so has there ever been a time you thought about quitting, throwing in the towel, just giving up boxing? And if you did, what made you say, nah, not today, I'm gonna keep it going?
Yeah, there's been a lot of times actually. I was in the Marine Corps for 8 years and, I deployed twice. I was in the field a lot. A lot of those times while I was out there, I would bring my boxing gear with me and I would train. And then sometimes I'll go on social media and then I would see all the fighters back home, getting their fights or, getting sparring in and that, real training in while I was in the middle of the desert, training. A lot of those times I wanted to quit, but I kept training and I kept going. And then it did come to a point where even, Coach Alex, my coach, where I told him I was considering just switching over to MMA or switching over to just jiu-jitsu because I was getting no fights. We were pulling up to shows and opponents were pulling out every single time. So yeah, that's definitely one of the biggest reasons why I considered quitting is because every time we would show up to a show, opponents would pull out and I would go through a whole camp and basically felt like, almost like it was like a waste of time in a sense, because you put all that hard work, you sacrifice all those things and then you get to fight day and it's, no opponent. So,
no fight. Yeah.
No fight.
I bet that sucks. All that hard work,
it's happened
the
to me a lot.
cut, all that, and then just to find out you don't have a fight.
Yeah. It's happened to me at least 8 different times. So.
Whoa, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, stop canceling the fights, man. If you're gonna sign up, show up, man.
Absolutely.
All right, so next question, man. What's one thing people don't understand about a fighter like you, man? Break that down for me.
I guess just sometimes the way I train, a lot of people have a hard time wrapping their mind around why do I wake up so early to go run and do the things that I do, training 2-3 times a day. Most fighters understand it and get it, but the average person might not understand it, They might think that I'm just doing overkill or doing too much or whatever the case may be, but I would definitely say that's definitely one of the things is just the way I train and the way I push myself, past my limits. It's not for them, it's really just for myself.
All right.
Yeah.
So I know you have plans of going pro. I know that's in your future. Can you tell me what a successful career looks like to you? Is it money? Is it the belts? Is it the legacy? What would define a successful career to Andre?
I would first and foremost say it's all those things. But when I think about going pro, a lot of the times I think about my kids. I like for them to see it be done. I feel like for my son and my daughter to see like, oh, my dad was a professional boxer, they see that they could do that plus more and do better. That's the goal, is for them to do better than me. Even if they don't want to be a boxer, they want to, may they be the best at whatever it is that they love to do and have passion, have a passion for it, and have them be a champion at that, whatever the case is. Whatever it is, I want them to be better at it.
That's what's up. It's a great answer, man.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, you just spoke about your kids. Being a fighter yourself, would you mind if your kids wanted to be a fighter? If so, why or why not? Like, is that a path that you can support for them?
That's that's a good question. That's a question that sometimes I do have mixed feelings about. I absolutely want my kids to know how to fight, know how to box, know how to, defend themselves on the ground, whether it be wrestling, jiu-jitsu, absolutely. Like you said, it's mandatory. I want my kids to know how to defend themselves. A lot of the times, I would like for them to compete, both of them to compete, not just to, make them try to follow my footsteps or try to make them, or live a dream, through them. That's not my intentions. My intentions really with that is just for them to build their confidence, There's nothing like fighting in front of a crowd of people after you and your opponent have trained weeks and weeks on end to be the best that you can on that day, and fight against each other. I don't think there's anything else in the world that builds your confidence like that does, you know what I mean? So if they could, if my son or my daughter, they want to go be a real estate agent or a manager somewhere else, their confidence is going to be through the roof because they know what real pressure feels like being in the middle of that ring while while all eyes are on them. So that's where, just to answer your question, I would say, yeah, I would definitely want them to fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, so my last question for you, man.
Yeah.
If you could go back and talk to a younger Andre, that 10-year-old that first picked up those gloves, what would you tell him? What kind of tips would you give him?
Man, I would say stick to it, man, because, I don't even really consider that being the time that I started boxing, just because I was so young and I was surrounded by so much negativity, so many bad kids at that time that we were just doing it just to stay out of trouble. But if I can go back and talk to that, 10-year-old Andre, I would be like, stay in the gym, stay in there and never leave, never look back. Because I probably would be in a much more different position, today. You know what I mean? I'd probably ready to be pro by now, but who knows? Can't go back in the past.
Hey, man. Understandable, but
Yeah.
hey, your journey is your journey for a reason, man.
Yeah.
Don't regret anything that happened. Everything happens the way it's supposed to.
Absolutely.
I know you're gonna be great in the future, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you on that TV, man.
Absolutely.
I know you're gonna make it happen. I believe in you, and I can't wait till you turn pro, man.
Absolutely.
Hey, if you in what's your weight class again?
Right now I'm at 154. When I turn pro, I don't know, I was debating whether we debut at 140 or 147. We'll see.
Hey, I think 140 is yours, man.
Might be.
And I'm telling you, if you're in 140 division when Andre turns pro, move up, get out of the way, man, because he's coming for everything. Hey,
That's love.
anything you want to say before we get out of here? Anybody want to shout out, thank, anything? The floor is yours, man.
Just shout out to all my family, my supporters, my people back home in the 209, Merced, everybody that, has been following me through this journey. Shout out to you guys, man.
All right, man. All right, so that's Andre Mayfield. Trust me, this guy's just getting started. Hit the like button and subscribe. If you know a fighter that's built for this platform, drop their name in the comments. Until next time, keep your hands high and your hustle higher. We out.